Hello, hello, Liz Wilcox here, the Fresh Princess of Email Marketing. You are listening to the Email Sound Booth podcast. I don't know why I said booth podcast, but I did. Anyway, if you are just listening, I would love for you to go to watchliz.com and check this episode out on YouTube because Ecamm of ecamm.com ECAMM.com. I won a contest with them back in October 2024. I'm going to link to that episode in the show notes, but I won a contest with them, and part of that prize was they were going to fly to my house and help me build out a studio. So real quick, before we get into the 3 lessons I learned, I kind of want to show you around. And I think what you'll notice is that it's really, really simple. So kind of let me get out of the way here, and I'm gonna move my mic so you can still hear me. And y'all, I am not a YouTuber yet. And so this video, if you're watching it, you'll see like Liz is just moving around her stand. But we have this gallery wall, and it's got all my favorite things. I love to plan out my years, like month by month, week by week. So I have a big ass calendar. I've got some NSYNC on the wall. I've got my Fresh Prince, my beloved Applebee's and Survivor stuff, my NY Silence, and I even have on the bottom this road to 10,000 members for my email marketing membership. Yes, I want 10,000 members. I'm still going for that goal. I'm just not in a rush. We are over 4,000, so I have 1,000 squares colored in, and honestly, I'm hoping by Q2, the end of Q2, halfway through the year, I'll have 5 colored in, and then I'll have the 6th square by the end of the year. That's my hopes and dreams. And one of the happy accidents of this podcast studio is, if you don't know, I was on that show Survivor, right? And I'm kind of famous in the Survivor circle for Applebee's. And Applebee's, when I first moved into my new house, after the finale of Survivor, they sent me a care package, and I just kept the box. It's a really nice gift box. I was thinking I'll regift it, or I'll use it for Christmas presents, etc. But Doc of Ecamm, Doc Rock, shout out Doc, he found it, and we had forgotten to buy shelves. And he said, oh, yo, we can turn this box into a shelf. So again, if you're not watching this on YouTube, you really should go because it's hysterical. So we turned the box into a shelf, and we put my NSYNC Funko Pops on there. Okay, and then I want to show you, wrap it around here. Let me get out of the way. And we decided to go with, I didn't want to paint the whole room, but we took down some wallpaper from the previous owners. It was like little boy wallpaper. And we painted it, it's called Laser Lemon, and I'm Liz Lemon, right? That's what a lot of my ex-husband's family calls me, Liz Lemon. My outlaws, I call them. They used to be my in-laws, now they're my outlaws, right? So we painted it yellow, and we painted part of the trim of the windows pink. And what I love about what we did with the windows here is the windows in my office, if you're not watching, they wrap around the corner of the wall. So there's like 3 big ones, and then there's one that wraps around the corner. So what we did is we made it where all of the trim is painted all around the room. So super duper fun. Anyway, if you care about that, that was a little sneak peek. It wasn't the best sneak peek because, again, I'm not a professional YouTuber yet. By the end of the year, I will definitely cringe at this video. And in the show notes, if it's available, we'll also put Ecamm. They did much more professional video while they were here, so they'll have some overviews. I'll link to that, or I'll put it in the Email Sound Booth Facebook group if you're not in there, so you can see more beautiful footage of that. Anyway, let's talk about what I said this episode was going to be about, right? The 3 sort of lessons I learned, the 3 takeaways from having them come and help me build out this studio. The first lesson I learned was actually get friends involved to make your studio build more fun than it is stressful. So I have been stressing this studio since I moved into my new house. Forever and a day, I lived in an RV or I lived in fully furnished houses where I literally couldn't or didn't have the capacity or capability to build something out. Hence why I've never tried YouTube till now, right? But then I was freaking myself out about it. Like this room, I mean, it's not gigantic, but it's definitely not small. And even the idea of, because I had been collecting things for my office, my studio, whatever you want to call it, for years, and even like how I envisioned it, like floor to ceiling, sort of a gallery wall, that seems stressful. But having Caleb and Doc Rock here from Ecamm made it so much fun. Even in a snowstorm when, our packages wouldn't arrive, and if you're watching on YouTube, you would have seen like, Liz, where's your equipment? And all I really have right now, I'm just using the webcam for my new computer and my Shure mic. Excuse me, I'm wiping my nose because, oh my gosh, my allergies. Anyway, the snow is melting, the allergies are coming back. Anyway, the equipment didn't come, but it was still fun. It made it so less stressful having people to bounce ideas off of. So if you have a partner or a friend or getting your kids or somebody involved, that would make it fun and not stressful. Like there are certain people I wouldn't ask over because it would make me so stressed. But if you've got a good friend that's got a good eye, definitely get your friends involved. Or get your audience involved if you don't have anyone, hey, where should I place this? Where should I place that, right? The second lesson I learned is you need less equipment than you think. Remember I just told you our packages didn't arrive? Doc had ordered for me this sort of like rolling stand and with clips where I could clip my phone or my video camera. It had, I think he calls it a soft box, which is like where the light is, that covered light that gives you that soft light. He had ordered a couple different mechanisms for us to build that out, so I could record here at my computer. I could wheel it out to my living room or in this space right behind me. I'm going to buy like a big beanbag chair or something, so I'll have a couple different places within this one room to record. That way I don't get bored. But that didn't even come, and I feel like this is mostly set up. Like I probably don't even need that stuff really. Now that we've painted it, I got this new computer. I also got a new camera. Like we're pretty much set. We need less equipment than we think to get the job done. And even I thought I was gonna have a lot of blank space on my wall, but the things that I've been collecting over the years, my NSYNC poster, all my Fresh Prince stuff, even the freaking Applebee's gift box turned shelf, like you really need less than you think to get something good. And the last lesson is, as far as the decorations go, as far as the vibe, the mood, your background, your studio, whatever you're calling it, think about how you want it to look, but also how your audience will like it, right? So for me, this podcast, this YouTube series, whatever we're calling it, video podcast, is called the Email Sound Booth, right? And so in the background, I put much more musical things and pop culture things than I did like personal live stuff, right? Like I could have put 1,000,001 pictures of my daughter and all the artwork she has. And not that my daughter isn't important to me. She totally is, and she's everywhere else in this house. But for the Email Sound Booth, I wanted it to feel musical. I wanted it to feel like LizWilcox.com, not just Liz Wilcox, if that makes sense. And so when we were designing it, the yellow and pink, I love yellow and pink, but it's not my favorite color. My favorite color is purple. So if it was all about me, this would have been purple. I would have had more pictures of Chelsea up. That's my daughter. I might have made it like a Zen. I'm really into yoga right now, so I might have made it like a yoga studio look, right? But this is the email sound booth, okay? We are on and popping over here. I am Dr. Dre. You are Eminem. You are Marshall Mathers, right? You are the amazing artist, and I'm just the producer. I'm helping you produce amazing content when it comes to email marketing, right? So I wanted it to have a fresh, fun LizWilcox.com branding, hence the yellow and pink, hence all the NSYNC, Will Smith. There's even a picture of me up there, of me speaking, right? I wouldn't put that anywhere else in my house, but for my audience, I think you guys are going to love it. I even have this big ass calendar, which honestly is a little too big for me, but I also thought about my audience. I want my audience to always be planning, to always be thinking, not a year in advance, but be thinking 2-3 weeks in advance, a few months. The more advanced you get, the more in advance you have to think. And so I want my audience to know I have a plan for me, I have a plan for you, and I want them to start thinking about mapping out their own plans, because that's something that's helped me in my business. So the big ass calendar literally takes up oh my God, more space than anything else. I'm not going to go into percentages. Anyway, so those are the 3 things I learned. Again, get your friends involved when you're building out your studio. That's going to make it more fun than stressful. Number 2, you need less equipment than you think. Somebody asked us if we were going to have those fancy podcast sound panels to absorb the sound, and Doc Rock from Ecamm, who is an audio technician, he was like, yeah, that's not really in Liz's brand, and you don't really need it. It doesn't have to be perfect, so we're not going to do that. You need less equipment than you think. And number 3, think about how you want it to look for you and your audience, right? Think about both parties and come to a conclusion from there. All right, I hope this was a little different than email, but I hope it was really fun. As always, I'd love for you to check out my membership. It's $9 a month. You get weekly newsletter templates, monthly Q&As, quarterly guest experts, all that jazz. I'll link to that in the show notes. And of course, I'm Liz Wilcox. You are awesome. And I'll see you on the next episode of the Email Sound Booth podcast.